Hey folks, this is Alex Blencarn from the Bose & Cox Platinum team. I just wanted to sit down with you today and take a quick minute to talk to you about the different types of real estate markets here in Ontario. All that and more coming up. So generally in real estate there are three different types of markets. There's your buyer's market, your seller's market, and your balanced market. Some characteristics of the seller's market include when the supply of housing is low and the demand is high, there are more buyers than there are sellers. Due to this, prices increase and houses sell fairly fast, and sellers oftentimes have the luxury of considering multiple initial offers or counteroffers on the sale of their property. Next is the buyer's market. So this is kind of the flip side. There are more sellers this time than there are buyers. So there is more supply than there is demand. Due to this, housing prices typically stabilize or actually decline, and houses take a lot longer to sell. During this time, buyers actually have the luxury of taking their time when they're purchasing a property and including several conditions in their offer so they can protect themselves fully. Finally, there's the balanced market. This is when the supply and demand are equal, and when there are an equal amount of buyers as there are sellers. During this market, nobody really has the negotiating leverage, and houses kind of sell at their normal speed, and housing prices typically stabilize. Next, I wanted to talk to you about the different factors that might affect the real estate market, as sometimes these can be used to predict which way the market will swing. To begin, I wanted to talk about the demographic changes. This is your immigration, your migration, or your family formation rate. However, family formation rate tends to be the key aspect when it comes to demographic changes and their effect on real estate. The family formation rate is the rate at which your family grows. So this can be a family who's recently had children, or perhaps a grandparent is moving in with you, and now you need an extra couple bedrooms. This can result in more buyers looking to either enter the housing market for the first time or expand on which house they currently have. On the flip side, decreasing family size, whether that is empty nesters and children actually growing old and moving out of their family home, or whether that is recent retirees who are looking to move into a smaller property. This can result in more sellers, as now they have a couple extra bedrooms laying around and they no longer need them, so they're more likely to sell. Next, I wanted to talk about employment conditions. So as economic prosperity and employment increase, so does the demand for housing. Now that people are making more money, they naturally want to spend it on the thing that they spend the most amount of time in, which is their home. So this results in more first-time buyers or people who are looking to upgrade. On the flip side, in periods of economic hardship, when unemployment rises, you actually see a lower demand for housing. Now that people no longer have that stable job, sometimes they're looking to sell, because housing tends to be one of the most liquid assets you can own, and you can sell it fairly fast depending on the market. Next, I wanted to talk about mortgage and interest rates. Now, when mortgage and interest rates are high, this tends to lower the demand for housing as well, because now people don't want to pay more for a house because of those high mortgage and interest rates than they normally would at a lower rate. And on the flip side, when those rates are low, this tends to increase the amount of buying demand, and more people are looking to buy because they can get more house for their money. Finally, I wanted to talk about building activity. Substantial building activity actually normally indicates a very strong real estate market. However, if you overbuild and there's not a high enough demand for those properties, you can actually go into a buyer's market because now there's more properties available than there are people looking to buy. Finally, I wanted to talk to you about some different tips and tricks that you can use during these markets. So, some advice for a seller during a seller's market. You want to seek a large deposit, as that oftentimes indicates commitment from your buyer. You also want to hold out for either unconditional offers or counter offer at a higher price, because right now you own the negotiating leverage. So you're able oftentimes to negotiate for a higher price than your home was listed for initially, especially if multiple offers are received. Next, for the buyer in the seller's market. You want to lead with a high deposit. As we talked about before, this often demonstrates to the seller that you are highly committed to this property. You also want to lead with your highest and best offer. However, you don't want to offer more than you would be willing to pay for that property. Because once you submit that offer to the seller, if they accept that offer, you now owe the seller that amount of money. You also want to maybe consider unconditional offers, as they might be more enticing to the seller. However, you may run into legal troubles or buy something that you didn't think you were buying, so I would always suggest getting advice from your agent. Next, some advice for a seller during a buyer's market. You want to keep your home in the highest condition possible. That way, the potential of the property is readily visible for anyone that comes to see it. That being said, you also want to be open for as many showings as possible, and oftentimes you might get lower than asking offers and high conditions on the offers, so you want to be prepared for those as well. Next, for the buyer during the buyer's market. This is your time to shine. You hold all the cards. So you want to submit multiple conditions on your offer so that it fully protects you. You can also take your time in searching for that perfect property for you, because there are several different homes available and they're going up for sale all the time. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any other questions about real estate, please feel free to send me a direct message or drop a comment below, and I'll make a video about it or message you directly with my response. I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope it helped. Please share and like the video, and subscribe if you're interested in this type of content. Until next time, take care.